Hello, and welcome to another episode of What's on the Pile. I'm Nathan Bezner, and with me is Shane, Jane,
Hi.
and Jenner, and
Research assistant intern Ripley,
yeah,
who wouldn't stop worrying at the cord for my headset and consequently is being distracted reasonably effectively.
uh, very cute. This week we're discussing a new release, David Fincher's second film in his four-picture deal with Netflix, The Killer, starring Michael Fassbinder with cameos by other actors. The Killer tells the story of the killer, an assassin type who accidentally shoots the wrong person during an assassination attempt, and the fallout of that event. It's an extremely parse plot, but that's not what Fincher is really about. So there's a lot of mood and nuance in there and visual stuff. And I'm pretty sure he made the movie he meant to make. I'm not entire. I don't know. Who am I to say? Um, what did everybody think of The Killer?
I love the
I'm,
Smiths, so
I'm
two
gonna.
thumbs
I was gonna
up.
say I'm gonna defer to Jane on this one. I want Jane's comments most directly.
It was like an all soundtrack. It was fantastic. But that's I don't know. I mean, I have lots of thoughts on this, and they're not all scattered. I could go on for about 10 minutes if you want me to, but
Well,
we
I'm
can.
sure we'll talk about all that as we go.
Yeah, yeah. I will say there were some problems with it. I really, really hated the sound design, not the soundtrack, but the. Oh
God,
my God! A
you and
killer
I
with
are simpatico. Simpatico. I wrote
oh
that down. The sound mix was, I get it. I get they were trying to do that. This is the point of view. This is what he's hearing. This is what the world is like. It didn't fucking work. It was the
it was
worst
awful.
sound design I had ever heard. It was ridiculous. I had a lot of
You had
problems with
like
this
all these
movie
little
too.
farts and burps through it, not real ones, but like
Oh,
little. And
and every time
you don't even know what it is.
he looks at a digital watch and it goes bleep
Yeah,
bloop bloop. And it's like, come on, man. We've had those long enough that we don't need to do sound effects of bleep bloop blop because it's not a future device now.
right. And it
That's a
doesn't even need to make sounds. You can turn it off. And you would think that a killer would turn the sounds off.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna address a couple of things
I,
about
I,
the his actions, which make little to no sense as
I
well.
I feel like it was making sounds because those were alerts to let him know when his heart rate reached a certain.
No, some of it was just ambient crap.
It,
It had nothing to do with anything that was going on. You'd just be like, he'd be walking down the street, and then you'd hear, but it had nothing to do with anything he was showing.
it
It
was
was
a
I,
weird mix.
Are you su-
I
are you sure
some of
that
that.
wasn't? Are you sure that wasn't Trent Reznor's soundtrack?
Yeah, some of that was Resner and Ross. I
I
feel
guess
confident. Uh,
I
I
don't
didn't even
think
notice
that
that they had
when
anything to do with it.
I'm speaking specifically when a digital watch, something we currently have that does not bleep or bloop when you pop around on it,
Well, mine does,
they
but
they put in all these sound effects for it. It was off-putting for me.
yeah,
I didn't like it was very aggressive sound design. The music was fine. The mix, the editing of the actual sound design is what I have a problem with. Like the physical, like okay, like when they would do the cutaways to like no sound and sound. If you
mhm,
listen, it's not no sound. They just drop the sound, but they do it
yeah,
really abruptly with a ramp, a really sharp ramp. If you listen to it, it goes hey,
Just
eh,
during a line of dialogue at one point, I
yeah,
noticed that.
and 99% of the time you do that with hearing the background a little bit louder than that, so you understand it's still there, but you are focusing on this other thing. It's a filmmaking technique that Fincher, I think, is trying to subvert, and it does not work for me in any way.
and
that was a bit.
actually, here's
I liked.
another sort of off the well, if I'm kind of I might get off the path.
No,
Wait, do you
no,
want to
no.
respond to what I just said?
Sort of,
It
but
had
I
to,
mean,
kind of.
okay,
Yeah,
The-
go with Jenner. Go with Jenner.
I was just the bits where they went from loud, like loud internal to soft external on the soundtrack. Uh, that those bits that I liked. Some of the I hadn't paid as close attention, certainly not as technical attention to the sound design as you guys did. I thought this worked for me. I saw it in sort of a limited surround just based on the capabilities of my soundbar. I didn't have any particular problem with it. The most obvious bits in the mix, as I heard it, were the going from internalized to externalized with the Smiths, most particularly. And that I thought was an interesting device. I don't know if I love it, but I didn't dislike it.
It's extremely jarring. And that's something I want to say about the movies. It starts off very jarring, and then it's not for the majority of the film.
Ever.
It is the most abrupt opening credits ever, and I kind of liked that.
I hate it. I especially hate it because the thing uses stock transitions. Like, they dragged and dropped a fucking blind wipe from After Effects and then changed the parallel by about 4%. And that's it.
It's a deadpan movie. The movie is fainting at hard-boiled in a register that appealed to me. I didn't love it, but I did like it. But going back to what Jane was saying, what were you saying?
Okay.
Jane?
Well, honestly, a lot of times the sound didn't actually match up. Or maybe I just misinterpreted. What really bothered me was he'd be in the airport and they'd be making the announcements, and then but it would be in the background. Then it would get louder, and he was in the shower, not in the airport, but he's just in the shower, naked, sitting on the floor, and it's still doing the airport announcements. Why?
I figured that was an airport club. I figured that was one of the VIP clubs.
I think that was supposed to also be auditory montage at the time, like it's all bleeding together or whatever. I get what they're doing. I totally understand it. I just hate it. I hate it. Like, on a technical level, that's great that they were trying to kick the tires of certain tropes, but fucking goddamn it, it was so jarring.
I have none of that, background, and I know nothing about sound design. I just hated it. So, I mean, even the layman will hate it, maybe, or could hate it.
I think people are going to love this movie.
It is a fun movie. Well,
it's because it feigns at being an existential art house picture, but is in reality just a schlocky revenge film.
Well, you see, that's what I liked about it. I liked that it's just, not necessarily Chandler thing, more Jim Thompson-esque, kind of mid-century hard-boiled style, just transposed into the present day. It's non-detective hard-boiled.
There's a
touch of detectiveness to it in the plot, but certainly not in the character. It is not Raymond Chandler's knight in shining trench coat.
It also does something that just turns me off of most movies, because it's such a typical 80s action movie type thing, which is to introduce the female character, his love of some kind. What were they dating? Were they married? I thought maybe she was like his daughter or something. She was so young and he wasn't. And he comes in and she's like, "Oh, I'm beat to hell and I got raped. Fuck, this is awful, but I never betrayed you because this is all about you." And he's like, "Thank you. I'll go off and do my killing now. You have given me that opportunity. I'm thankful for that." And then she doesn't fucking say a word in the rest of the movie. Her entire backstory is, I have a brother. I'm somehow romantically involved with this dude. She's just another,
and the brother talks for her the whole time.
It's the rape as a plot device thing that doesn't actually add anything to the plot. They didn't need to mention sexual assault in any way whatsoever. It did not add to it. It did not take away. We still would have been angry at a woman being beat near to death with a giant scar on her head. It's not like they could show you her bloody vagina or something. So they're just using words to attack you.
I didn't honestly understand or pick up that she was indeed for sure raped. I thought it was more like
that was certainly the implications. Like, there are worse things they could have done to me.
Yeah, and also I didn't.
That line has some weight.
I didn't approve of his methods. Yay, Tilda Swinton. I didn't even know she was going to be in it.
I did like the line. He said she looked like a Q-tip. He wasn't wrong.
So as far as I could tell, this is a movie about a guy fucks up a job. The job says, "Fuck this dude. Let's just wipe him off the face of the earth." And he's like, "No, I'm gonna kill all my coworkers and employers, and then I'm gonna go up to the rich guy who actually ordered the hit on me and be like, better watch out."
Yeah, that bothered me too.
Yeah, why not kill the billionaire? Come on.
It's so lame.
Well,
Teaching a lesson.
Letting him live and in fear is better than just killing him. I think. I mean, it feels like more like revenge because once he's gone, he can't take that safety back. You know.
I think what it's trying to do is it's trying to keep you on the side of the anti-hero who has straight up murdered people who have families and
taxi driver.
Just a taxi driver
like
guy.
He lost me when he. I mean, I liked the movie. He lost me as a sympathetic character when he killed the taxi driver.
Oh, I didn't think he would. I was approaching this as he wasn't the least bit sympathetic from the beginning. This was just a procegial.
Yeah,
I like that sort of thing. However,
yeah, I hated that whole beginning when he was like, "I'm smart, and this is what I do, and I'm the best." And then he goes,
then he immediately he fucks up.
And he goes, "Oh fuck!" And then
we just met this guy, and he fucks up directly.
Yeah, not so direct. That's the first quarter of the movie.
When that happens, though,
when the first thing he
up, I'm like, finally, it's good. I was like,
I don't know. There was part of me that hoped the entire movie would take place in that room. Just him stewing to really hammer home the boredom of the job, the tedium.
There is an absolute F-ton of gallows humor in this movie. It is humor as much as anything else at the expense of everybody who's inside the movie. It's the hitman's pretension, the killer's pretentiousness, even to himself, is almost a running joke of the picture. I mean, no slight on the Smiths, but all he listens to is the Smith.
It's a mood, man. It's a mood.
It's not the only one, however.
It's the best one.
Okay, it's the best. You see what I'm saying? You've been there, Jane. You love the Smiths. I love the Smiths. I like the Smiths. But still, the Smiths are not the only thing anyone who is not insanely pretentious can listen to. Correct?
No. No, because when I was in my 20s, man, that's all I listened to. I mean, there was very little.
Are you saying you weren't pretentious in your 20s?
If I was, I didn't know.
Nobody does. That's how people get pretentious.
Okay. I don't know. I doubt it.
Okay. You see what I'm saying, at least.
I do. But I just feel like the Smiths get a bad rap. I mean,
it's no slight on the Smiths. It's no slight on the Smiths, honestly.
There are
slight on the Smiths fans.
There are too many, for me, mistakes as a filmmaker to let this one go, including why, when he was getting out of the car to go into the big dude's house, he slides back the gun, and then 2 shots later, he does it again.
He cocks it again. I saw that.
Yeah. Fucking annoying to see that. It's such a blatant film technique. It's like
for a director as meticulous as Fincher, I will freely allow that this feels a little bit like slumming for Netflix or slumming for the streaming services, especially coming off of Mank, which was frickin' beautiful.
Mank was much better than this, and I was lukewarm on Mank, but that was light years better than this.
I mean, I liked the movie. I did feel like this was. He approached this, I feel like, the way that Scorsese approached After Hours, just like pure style, pure filmmaking.
It's a minor film in the oeuvre of its maker.
Yeah, almost as quick and dirty a film as Fincher can do. Almost as like a Netflix obligation or something, just to toss one off. Even though he's been developing it since the early 2000s.
Yeah, this is like his passion project.
It felt heartfelt. It just felt slightly, it was as close as Fincher has gotten to Cracker Jack.
It felt lazy to me.
With the exception of Panic Room. Panic Room was pure Cracker Jack from beginning to end. That said, I liked this movie. I liked this movie. I did not love this movie. I did not like this movie as much as I expected that I was going to, but I didn't feel that my time was wasted. I enjoyed how it went. A lot of stuff was exceptionally well observed. I kind of love the misfortunate events with the New Orleans lawyer and his secretary. His secretary was the single most compelling character in the entire movie.
Absolutely.
See, I love the secretary scene, but I did have a problem with that, where she begs him not to just make her disappear, and then he has that voiceover like empathy is whatever, no empathy. He does kill her in a way that, I guess, a humane way, but since he's breaking his rules, shouldn't that have a consequence that he did something that he shouldn't have done?
I think that the point of it is it's ironic because let me finish, damn it. I assume that it is ironic in that he is doing the opposite of what he's saying to do. He does not follow his own rules at this point. He is working with emotions now because it happened close to home. And so yeah, it would be an ironic response.
I mean, at the same time, you're assuming a moral order, which is the precise thing that the guy has been conspicuously rejecting for the entire movie. If him breaking his own rules does not result in any kind of subsequent comeuppance, then that confirms the lack of karma or order to the universe. The movie is the movie is cosmically nihilistic in a bizarrely non-negative way.
I feel kind of like it's Fisher-Price nihilism.
It's
Fincher Price.
Fincher Price.
That's what
it was there. I had to do it.
It was there. It was available. It was low-hanging fruit, and just.
Yep.
By the ghoulies. Anyway, but
yeah, I like the movie. I feel like this is going to go down as a minor film.
It is absolutely minor. It is getting a tremendous amount of acclaim, which feels excessive. If this movie is one of the most acclaimed movies of the year, then either the critics have just stopped paying attention, they have stopped letting their palms get crossed by silver. We assume it's happening. Or it's just been a surprisingly rough year, which it kind of hasn't. Which we'll get to when we talk about what we've been watching lately.
I think one of the issues I have, and I want to bring this up so badly, I think this film was written flamboyantly. It's an incredibly flowery and flamboyant script. It is trying to go for that hard-boiled feel, that Dashiell Hammett kind of stuff.
Definitely more Hammett than Chandler.
And that annoys me because you start getting things like, okay, here's an example. The metaphorical joke that Tilda Swinton tells, where she says the guy brings his gun to the forest, shoots at the bear's like, I'll sodomize you, and he keeps coming back, and on the last one, the bear's looking over him and says, you're not really hunting, are you?
Not really here for the hunting.
Not really here for the hunting, are you? She fucked that joke up because they did not, not her, the writing fucked that joke up because they wanted to not give away, be too on the nose for using the story in the first place. The line is usually delivered, are you aiming to miss?
No.
That's the fucking punchline, for Christ's sake. And they changed it, and I assume it's only to include the line without spelling out what she's saying to him. And that's stupid.
It is a better joke. It is an objectively, as close to objective as I can get. It is an objectively better joke with the punchline you just gave there.
Yeah. Do you see why that's a good story now? Like, it's a great joke.
Well, I mean, here consider the killer's inability to remember the sources of some really obvious quotations. The running under the hood joke of this movie is none of these people are actually particularly smart.
Yeah, that's true. And he did say, "I'm no genius."
They have a particular talent, but remember, most career criminals are career criminals because they weren't good at anything. I mean, most criminals just keep going to jail. The myth of the supervillain is precisely that for the most part, unless you're talking about in a completely capitalist context. That's a whole nother conversation. But most criminals are criminals because they're not particularly bright, which the movie itself feints at in that reference to the Green River Killer.
Yeah, I remember them referencing that.
Yeah,
I assumed it was him.
It was him trying to flex on somebody who he said that couldn't spell the word cat if you spotted them the A, and the T.
Yeah.
The point being that he's way above that guy.
Yeah.
This is not a movie that actually thinks terribly highly of anybody inside it.
Yeah, it goes for nihilism. It definitely does.
Like
I don't hate it for nihilism though.
You're not wrong. It's light nihilism. It's not heavy nihilism. In this case, it's more seeing how things play out for people that we kind of.
I just imagine them hopping around. Ooh, nothing really matters. Ooh.
With the exception of the girlfriend who got done raw, or partner, I think was the term that I ran across in the reviews that I read. With the exception of the partner who done raw and her brother who seems like a pretty good guy, everybody else in this movie can kind of go fuck themselves.
What about
and that's really kind of the point of the movie?
The taxi driver.
Dolores.
The taxi driver. Well, okay, yeah. No,
Dolores had a role in shady shit.
The taxi driver did legitimately get screwed. The prostitute did legitimately get screwed.
Not that way.
No puns intended. Yeah, Dolores is the only character in the movie who actually inspires the slightest freaking bit of empathy, and she's still objectively a horrible, horrible person, despite her overt protestations to the contrary.
She absolutely knew what she was doing.
At least she got high before she went out.
I know, right?
I thought she was trying to kill herself.
Good plan.
I think she was trying to kill herself, but there weren't enough pills.
She couldn't get to the second bottle.
Oh, no, I thought she was willing to give him information if he would kill her in a way that didn't disappear. If she just killed herself, that he would vanish her body. So
I think she got halfway through the process and then thought, wait a second, we can work with this.
Maybe
that's more than halfway. A whole bottle of maybe there were only 3 left in there. Whatever
the hell that was.
Did anyone else notice, other than like Amazon, did anyone else notice the egregious product placement? I mean, obviously Amazon, but the Starbucks. He's standing in front of Starbucks. In the next 5 minutes, he's got a Starbucks cup. Postmates.
When was the last time you saw McDonald's get product placement in a movie? Good God!
I mean, I just watched Loki episode 3. They're talking about McDonald's all the time in there.
Loki and McDonald. Loki had McDonald's.
Loki.
Okay, you're right. Fair point. And I should have remembered that because that was one of the things I saw this week. But
I just started episode 3 before we started the podcast. But there was she's working.
Get with the program, but enjoy.
I can't get with the program. I got 2 kids and no time, and I have to wait for all of them to watch the damn thing.
They are already. They are. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's difficult to round up everybody and have the time. Anyway, I want to keep bagging on this movie.
Okay. I am not bagging, but I am absolutely seeing everybody's points. This is not an objectively good movie.
Okay. Why does he he has a whole shit ton of license plates, right? When he goes to Louisiana, he pulls the van in, he looks through all his license plates, and he puts it on the back by like magnets. He like magnetizes it to the back. Why?
Because it's quicker. It is quicker for him to remove it and throw it away when he's washing out.
I thought that was actually kind of a nice touch.
And he didn't want to use
he
it
went
again.
out of his way to make a fake one that on closer inspection could be extremely easily seen when it can take less than 15 seconds to change a license plate. I feel like somebody who is actually trying to hide themselves would not want like pseudo bolts on there because they were welded. They were like painted.
But he wouldn't have time. I mean, he didn't know if he would have time or not.
I am not going to grouse with that bit. I thought
think that's ridiculous.
That kind of
I think
what I think ridiculous. It was. That's the point.
No, what I think it was is I think that it was more visually appealing and more exciting to do that motion than to have somebody like take off a license plate and put it back on because that's fucking boring. But to me, I would just not do that. I just wouldn't do that part. I mean, we know he's meticulous. Do we really need to see that? It's 2 hours and it's an hour and 58 minutes already.
I was going to say, by current standards, that's actually quite concise.
Nah. Oh, here's the flowery dialogue. I hated this line, and I wonder if it's a direct lift from the book, but 50,000 storage facilities in the U.S., and I have units in 6. And it, like, on first hearing that, I didn't make the connection to individual states. I just heard U.S., imagine continent, and it fucked me up for just a minute, just long enough to be like, oh no, I get it. So it feels clunky to me. It feels really clunky. And there are a bunch of other lines like that work really well in print, but not so well.
That sounds like something that would have come out of a comic, which it was. So
yeah. When you read that, it makes perfect sense. You wouldn't miss a beat. On film, not so much. That's going to affect people. I think that's all I have to say about it.
No, I absolutely get your point. I mean, a movie that relies this thoroughly upon narration is presumably either A, a bad idea in the first place, or B, something derived from a pre-existing, primarily written source. In this case, like I say, I don't think it's a bad idea in this case, working against that sort of classical non-detective hard-boiled stuff. It's like Dashiell Hammett writing a Jim Thompson plot.
Jenner.
Hmm?
I prefer Alien 3.
That's impressive. No. For the folks at home, what you have to understand is this is one of those discussions that this gentleman and myself have been having for years because I remain one of the world's staunchest defenders of the third film in the Alien franchise, and he has never forgiven it, most particularly for its beginning.
Yeah.
The point being that of Fincher's oeuvre, given that was the most compromised of the bunch, I still consider it a deeply flawed masterpiece. Whereas he's never liked it one tiny little goddamn little bit. Which is
cinematography.
Okay,
it's a beautiful movie.
It is a beautiful movie. It is supremely well shot.
Which makes me hate it more. Because I want to look at it. Anyway, go. Keep going.
No, unpopular opinion, it has the best score in that entire damn series. Elliot Goldenthal is probably the most underrated film composer ever. Leaving that aside, all y'all people such as you are who are actually watching this, the fact that he should say that, and he should say that in my presence, the fact that he should admit that in the first place does not indicate some kind of seismic turnaround on the subject of Alien 3. It indicates that he really, really just did not care for this picture.
No. Rare for Fincher for me. I hated everything about it.
I liked it, but I consider it very minor.
Yeah.
That's where I would go with that.
Yeah.
It is certainly not the short list of the best movies of the year that a lot of the critics seem to be indicating that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. My brother says that criticism as an actual art form and or job is dead. I don't think he's wrong.
It kind of
there is. there are some.
It's not dead in academe, but it's kind of dead.
That's more analysis than criticism, so to speak. But even so, it's either that or it has just been a weirdly light year for quasi-prestigious pictures or auteur-driven pictures. But yeah, it is
the best movie featuring Smiths in the soundtrack this year. But it's not the best one featuring the Smiths soundtrack.
It's
one
of the better.
How was Shoplifters of the World?
I haven't seen that one yet.
I thought you saw that.
Oh wait, no, it's the other one that I didn't see. The one with the girl. I can't remember. I can't keep up with all of it.
Sorry. There's only so many Smiths-oriented movies. Also,
there's like 4 or 5.
Only so many. I see no reason to revise my prior statement.
That bag truly is amazing, Shane.
Which bag? Oh, the one with the man. And on the other side, there's a woman and a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week, I kept thinking it was somebody that was sneaking up behind you. It kept throwing me off more so than usual.
It looks like a photograph pasted to the glass in front of you.
See, I leave it there because people who watch my stream are obsessed with that. they're either freaked out by it at first and then realize it's a bag that I got. It's a gaming bag.
It's something for the people.
Yeah.
It's like it's LED lit.
If I cover it up, people complain.
It's antics. It's bonus content for the viewers.
It's also not a very good bag. Like, it's a gaming bag, but you can only fit one game in it. It's very narrow.
Do you still want your JanSport back?
Wait, you have one of my bags?
I've had it for like 15 years.
Oh no, I've got an awesome bag from Target.
I still need to get my VHS-C camera back.
I've got that too.
I need to come and visit one of these days.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough about The Killer. I get it's one of the better movies with the title The Killer that isn't The Killer or a remake of The Killer.
I mean, The Social Network's on Netflix. Go rewatch that, which I did this weekend.
Oh, there you go.
I don't really need to talk about that. I mean, you guys have all seen it, right?
Well, yeah. Let's move into what we watched this week. I'm gonna go first this week because I watched one thing and it's gonna be fairly quick. I watched Quiz Lady with
how's that?
Awkwafina.
How is that?
It is a funny in a very simple way where you know there's going to be a maybe overly happy ending, but you're here for it. It's like heartwarming and shit.
The phrase you're looking for is it's a feel-good movie.
Yes.
But not in the way that it's normally accepted, mostly because all of us are inherently resistant to things that are sold to us as feel-good movies.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it. It was Awkwafina and
I love Awkwafina. I love Sandra Oh. I've been meaning to get to it. I just haven't.
It's fun. Will Ferrell is freaking cute in it. Jason Schwartzman is hilarious in it.
I didn't realize they were in it.
Yeah.
Ferrell's freaking cute. Interesting.
What is this on? What
the hell?
Yeah, I saw an ad.
It's on Netflix.
Where did I see an ad for this? I can't remember.
Yeah, I saw an ad for it too. Mm-hmm. It might have Netflix.
No, it's Hulu. No, it is Netflix. Oh. It's Hulu or Netflix. I think it's Netflix.
It's one of the services we have.
I'm gonna look it up right now because we're all on computers.
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is the thing we can do.
Quiz Lady is on Hulu.
Right on.
It is a Hulu movie. Very, very fun movie. I highly recommend it. If you want to just watch something that you know will not upset you in any way whatsoever.
That is why I watch all the Korean dramas that I do, because I want something that's not going to like completely freak me out.
I do want to say it is still funny. It's good, but it's still funny because Awkwafina and Sandra Oh together are hilarious. And Sandra Oh's cast against type, which is a lot of fun.
They're both absolute comic geniuses, I think. I've been meaning to see it. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
It's great. I recommend it. Let me know when you've all seen it. That's it for me. I watched something else, but I forgot about it. Well, I mean, I watched some television. I'm only sharing movies, but I watch a shit ton of TV. Finally started season 2 of Our Flag Means Death.
Yeah.
I
still need to get through that.
Finally got through episode 2 of Loki.
Keep it up.
Yeah,
Keep it up.
working on it. We finished Demon Slayer and all that. I don't remember. I don't remember TV as well as I do movies.
I only log the TV when I actually finish the season these days. But yeah,
if
that's
I
it.
wrote things down, I'd remember them.
This is why I started doing that in the first place. Literally where I'm at here.
I can only talk about TV because I have not watched any movies this week except for The Killer.
Yeah, I've watched one other movie, and then I have a little bit of TV to talk about. I wish Matt were here, but
we miss you, Matt. Matt's driving and tried to join anyway.
Safe travels, Matt. Don't kill yourself to get on the damn podcast.
Yeah, never stream and drive. I know the kids love doing it on the TikTok and whatnot. It's goddamn dangerous.
It is a bad idea.
There is a statistic for people recording themselves while driving that ends in death. So just don't do it.
Yeah. Respect for committing to the bit. This is not that important. We love you, Matt. Stay safe.
All right. Hsien, how about you go?
Okay, well, I'm on season 2 of Castlevania now. Very good. I mean, I remember watching season 1 way back in the day, 4 episodes. Rewatch that in the middle of season 2. Really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it more than I remember enjoying the first 4 that I watched back then.
It has some more oomph and kind of emotional stakes in the second season. You recall I talked about that like 2-3 weeks ago. I need to go back and watch the last episode or so because I think I had kind of tuned out. I think I was just tired at that point. But I do absolutely love. My favorite line delivery I've seen in anything this year was Carmilla's. What the fuck was that? In I think the second or third to last episode of the season, but it's definitely stronger than the first one. I still need to get on to the third one.
The first one was better than I remember. I remember watching the first one and being kind of like, all right, but I was like really pulled in this time. Also, continuing this is what I really want to talk about. Continuing my anime adventures, I watched season 2 of The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. That's why I wish Matt were here. So season 1, I talked about how they broadcast it out of order, and it kind of works. So season 2, I guess they had to do something else that was weird. There's an apparently infamous arc called Endless 8. They're stuck in a time loop. It's 8 episodes. All 8 episodes are the same.
Like the same.
The same, 99% the same. All the dialogue is the same, all the scenes are the same, except for this. They don't reuse any of the shots. They reanimated every episode.
Okay, respect for experimentation with the form. In fact, I need to go back and watch this myself.
In fact, I'm watching with the Watch Along podcast, and they're watching it side by side, also to save time. But they confirm they're not reusing any of the shots. So sometimes there's a wide shot, sometimes there's a close up of one of the characters.
And does it change the perspective of the character, like by going to another? Do you learn more about the character just based on the shots?
You do, like the very small differences do heighten the sense that something fucked up is happening, and the people are starting to realize it. But it is also
so they kind of played a Higurashi here.
I don't know what that is. That
when they cry, when the cicadas cry, Higurashi no Koro no.
No, I don't know.
The one that kept reiterating and reiterating and reiterating and reiterating.
I mean, that's kind of what they do here. And so I'm watching with the Watch Along podcast. After the second episode of this, they're like, this is really cool how they're doing this.
Higurashi no Naka no... Oh, I lost it again.
After 4 episodes, they were like, why are they doing this to us? Make it stop. And after 8, they were like, fuck this. Because they also, they're doing this. They're doing this for a living. So they watch every episode 2 or 3 times to take notes and everything like that. So they're just suffering through this endless thing. And one of the viewers she watched it when it was broadcast. She said when it was being broadcast, she had to download it every week from a pirate site or whatever, and there was no indication of how long this was going to go on. Especially because in the broadcast, they all have the same title. On Crunchyroll, they're numbered now. It's like Endless 8-1. I mean, it's called Endless 8, so you might think it's going to be 8, but it's 8 days. It takes place over 8 days. But it's Endless 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on Crunchyroll. On broadcast, they're all just called Endless 8. And they just keep coming out, and nobody knew how long this was going to go.
It's actually not really over.
Respect for the format screw.
Right, and she works in animation. She's one of the writers for Rick and Morty, so she understands how animation works. And she's like, what must have been going through the heads of these people working on this show to have to do this for months and months on end? The same scenes, just from a different angle. Same script, same dialogue. I don't think they re-record the dialogue. It's just...
That sounds brilliant to me.
I know. I like to say, as the people who don't actually have to do the thing. That sounds kind of ingenious.
and there's a thought that this probably killed Haruhi, because this was one of the biggest shows. The first season was like Evangelion level, according to Matt. This was the last season.
Well, consider the original history of the last couple of episodes of Evangelion. When you mess with the form messes with you.
They talked about were the fans more mad about the final 2 episodes of Evangelion or Haruhi, and who knows.
That's probably a legitimate debate.
Yeah. So, anyways, I got through that. I mean, it's interesting, and then the resolution to how they get out of the loop is stupid. Everyone agrees it's stupid. Very anticlimactic.
Yeah. So they know they're in the loop.
One of the characters gradually realizes they're in a loop. One of the characters, who's basically Rei Ayanami, is an alien who remembers every loop, and they are in the loop for about 600 years.
But they don't do anything different.
One guy starts to remember earlier and earlier into the loop that he's in a loop, but he doesn't know how to get out. And he always remembers that at the very end, basically he realizes that he has to do something at the very end to stop it. And every single time he gets to that point, he just doesn't do anything. To the point where the podcast people who were watching this were like, I fucking hate this guy now. He's my favorite character. I want to beat his ass for not doing anything and making us do this over and over.
Handle your shit, man. Bust up in that piece Phil Connors style.
So it's just, you could probably just watch this. Just look for Haruhi Endless 8, and with no context, I don't know if you want to put it's only like 4 hours, I guess.
Over the last couple of weeks, you've actually seriously sold me on this show. I really need to freaking watch this entire thing now.
Apparently,
I need to make this a short-term life's mission.
Apparently, on YouTube, if you look up Endless 8 all at once or something like that, it shows them all simultaneously.
Oh, neat.
Which is...
That might simplify things, but it doesn't feel fair. It doesn't feel fair.
That's the way I do it, though.
The other thing I've been watching on Crunchyroll is I've never watched other than AMVs, never seen a single frame of Gundam. So I decided to start watching Gundam, and I went back to the source, the very original series.
Hell yes.
I've watched 4 episodes so far. I finally know who Char is.
Yeah.
I know he counterattacks at some point.
He does indeed.
It's a little slow going at first, but
if you're lucky with editing by Joe Croasdale and music by Toto from the Dune soundtrack, but shouting back to my youth. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I've never seen any of it. I've heard the Gundam Wing is very good, but I also heard that that's like an alternate universe. That's not actually part of the main continuity.
There are a lot of alternate universes.
There are a lot of alternate universes in Gundam.
I think
you're still squarely in the Universal Century, which I lost track of after Victory Gundam, which they got away from for quite a while. Shout out to G Gundam, not least for some ridiculous nationality caricatures, but also for general direction by Yasuhiro Imagawa, who of course did the giant Robo Redux of the 90s. But aside from that, a lot of these I've lost track of.
I'm using a guide, but I'm 4 episodes into one series out of like 30, so we'll see how far I get.
There are a lot of them.
I have seen very little of Gundam, but I have built a shit ton of those models.
Me too. I've started doing it because I found a store that has them nearby, and I just love building models.
recall that for most of its history, up until Bandai actually started their U.S. video label back in the 90s, Gundam had been... They would never license it. Nobody could ever afford the licensing, and so as a consequence, it was better known than actually watched, at least in the English-speaking territories. Shout outs to the golden age of sell-through VHS. That some of that stuff finally started to filter in around that time. Mm-hmm. But there are lots and lots and lots of. The last one that I think I can enumerate sequentially was Turn A Gundam. It's been a while, but yeah.
We'll see if I can make it through this first series. And then the final thing I watched was I went and saw The Marvels, which was very very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I heard it's a fun movie.
Fun movie. If you like Ms. Marvel,
yes,
I did.
If you like her family,
I do like her family.
Good stuff. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Looking forward to getting to that one.
Yeah. I would say it's. I mean, I would definitely say it's better than Captain Marvel. It's better than Thor: Love and Thunder. It's better than Ant-Man. It's decent.
All right.
I've heard that there seems to be some sort of controversy surrounding this film. I don't know anything about that though.
I just
it's gotten lower tier reviews than a lot of them, but that's what again I'm wondering if some people are just starting to fail to cross the correct palms with silver, because everybody I've heard who's actually seen it liked it very well.
Yeah, I just hope this isn't the end of Ms. Marvel in the MCU. Especially. Yeah, I mean, well, given how this movie's performed, this might be the end of all those characters. Who knows?
What?
Yeah,
really?
That would suck.
I don't know I don't even know what the movie's about. I haven't watched a Marvel thing in like a long time.
Well, it's Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and then Monica Rambeau from WandaVision.
Yeah, I know. They're on the poster.
Yeah, and then, but they're performing so poorly that who knows if any of their future projects will come to fruition. It has some pretty good teases at the end too for things that might never happen.
Huh.
Well, crap.
So. Because it's not doing well?
I am hopefully going to get to it in the next couple of weeks. Even so.
I'll wait for streaming.
Yeah, I'll wait for streaming too. That's the other thing, is that there is a big part of the entertainment watching people of the world that are waiting for streaming now.
Yeah. When I saw it on Friday, the theater was pretty full and everyone there had a good time. So,
Five Nights at Freddy's came out, did streaming and theatrical, and I know it had a major drop, but it still made a lot of bank.
Money, yeah.
I mean, granted, it's Blumhouse, so it probably didn't cost more than $5 million in the first place.
Yeah, it was. It was a very cheap film.
I think the Marvels cost almost $300 million or something like that.
Yeah,
given that it's 147 minutes long,
and doesn't have any stars that were maybe Brie Larson, but doesn't have like the Downey.
It doesn't have any marquee stars.
Yeah, who would be pulling those kinds of salaries that would drive the cost up. It's purely just, I guess, I don't know.
And people hate Brie Larson because she said something feminist like once.
Yeah,
I quite like Brie Larson.
I
do too.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I like Captain Marvel too.
I like Captain Marvel tremendously. I thought that was a great time.
Yeah, but I still have a chip on my shoulder about Captain Marvel and Shazam. So we discussed this with
we discussed this with Bob earlier
all day, like for hours.
I started watching Scream 6.
What was the one that was called Scream? Is that one?
Sorry.
5?
Yeah.
Yes. There was a little extra dip in the V part of the M that was supposed to indicate the 5-ness.
Yeah, I haven't seen any since 4.
I made it about 15 minutes in, and I thought to myself, "Oh yeah, I hate these movies," and just gave up. That's
I thought 5 and 6 were fine. They're unimportant.
Wait, was that the movie that you watched and didn't remember?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Outside of that series, I like the first one is significant. The first Scream is significant. The second one screwed up when they lost the nerve to call it the sequel to Scream. And the series itself has been tolerable but inconsequential since then.
They also killed off the movie geek character, and he was like, that's like the gimmick of the series, and they never they had to bring in different people related to him. They couldn't have a new movie geek. They had to have VHS tapes of him to bring him back because they wrote themselves into a fucking corner. Kevin Williamson is not a great writer. Wes Craven is a great director, but
Wes Craven is a good director.
Fair.
Anyways, I'm done. So who's next?
Jane, let's hear what you watch. I'm assuming some Korean drama I really want to hear about.
Yeah, it was, but yeah, are you sure you do? Because no, I watched and started and stopped a bunch of things. But I did finish Our Blues on Netflix. Fantastic, very dramatic, seaside, Jeju Island, awesome. It was really good, very heartwarming, very bittersweet. I highly recommend it if you want something that's not going to damage you for life, but give you a good cry. So, then I started another one called Reply 1988, and it was so frustrating because it was set in 1988, and it was all during the Seoul Olympics, and I didn't get but 2 episodes in because like I said, it was frustrating because they kept having to blur everything out because they didn't have permission, or Netflix got scared, and everything was blurred. Every television set, everything that they were eating or drinking was blurred, and I was like, wow.
They could have paid me $4,000, and I probably would have replaced all that with actual labels.
The product placement is feature, not bug in the Korean stuff.
That's how I know. I mean, there was this little 3-year-old girl drinking a giant bottle of Coke big as her with a big straw. She just sitting there watching TV, and the Coke the label was blurred out. I was like, this is no fun.
What the hell?
Yeah, and everything she was watching on TV blurred out.
That's like Japanese pornography.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that's a legal imperative. This just gets the feeling that whoever paid for the product placement in Korea didn't pay to continue the product placement in the United States.
Yeah, that's why we don't have the right opening music on House streaming, except for like the first season.
That's why Evangelion on Netflix doesn't have "Fly Me to the Moon" at the end. I think
it doesn't.
Yeah, it's
or does it? Does it?
That's
or maybe. Yeah.
We live in a time where where corporations are allowed to stake legal claims on ideas to the point where they saturate them into like obliteration.
Well, I mean, music rights were definitely a hiccup back in the VHS era as well. I mean, considered when you saw Blood Simple for the first time, was it or was the backing track for John Getz, our pal, cleaning up all of the blood? Can't Help Myself or I'm a Believer.
The first time I saw Blood Simple, I was less than 10 years old.
I was like 40.
I'm just saying the video.
I don't remember. I do not remember.
Okay. More acute example. What was the music?
No. I know what you're talking about though, and I usually dislike it when it happens.
What was the music when T.K. Carter was skating around the place in John Carpenter's The Thing? Was it Superstition or something other than Superstition? Because I don't remember what the video version soundtrack was there, but it wasn't Superstition.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
The Thing.
I know The Thing.
Another music rights misfit.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Anyway, so back to Korean drama. I'm starting another one called One Beloved Summer, and it's about, I don't know what it's about. I haven't gotten very far, and I'll get into it more. But I did finish Loki. Spoiler free. They did. It feels like that final episode, the final couple episodes, were rewritten and possibly refilmed and recut to possibly get rid of John Majors. Is that
Jonathan Majors? If he continued to be a problem, yes.
And I'm just saying, kind of watch for that when you get to it. It does feel like this was what, and I saw a couple of articles that kind of confirmed that my feeling was not wrong. But
they unhedged their bets.
It was still beautifully done. I feel like they were going to go a different direction, and they actually hinted at it a bunch. But then they didn't go there. They went another completely new one, and Disney hedged their bets.
Yeah, I'm still not sure where the show's going.
Unhinged.
2 episodes in.
Yeah.
I think it's done, isn't it?
I think it's done. Yeah, I think
they simply have.
Done.
I honestly don't see where they could go from this point.
It's done. It is confirmed done.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's fine.
Now, of course, notably, as I kept saying in the chat, about half of the episodes were directed and in some cases written by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, the transcendentalist, mostly horror auteurs who also took did a lot of the stuff on Moon Knight. It absolutely shows. If anything, is leaning into the legit wackadoo tendencies of their earlier rather wonderful stuff like The Endless.
Are those the dudes that did the Anthony Mackie time travel movie?
Yes, they are.
All right.
Yeah. Is that like Synchronicity or something?
Yeah. Synchronicity, yes.
I never saw that.
That's the only thing I've seen.
To me.
The Endless is absolutely worth watching if you haven't seen it. This to say nothing of its sort of predecessor, Absolution. Moorhead and Benson are interesting. Moorhead and Benson are interesting, and they're actually making a go of being transcendentalist genre filmmakers in our current age, and which is kind of a thing to be sort of inherently commended in its own right.
Before I heard you talking about them, when I was flipping through, I saw that movie, the End. Did you say?
The
Endless. And I remember looking at the description and thinking, I've never heard of this. And I saw the two names, and then I saw maybe it wasn't The Endless. Was it? No, I'm not thinking of The Endless.
Might have been Absolution.
What's the one where the two guys also are in their own movie?
I don't know about. Oh, In the Dirt, the newer one, the one that's on Hulu.
No, this would have been like a couple years ago. That's the dead air. This is a dead air segment.
I was going to say two guys hanging out in an apartment that starts showing anti-gravity behavior.
No.
They shot that one during lockdown. That was a neat movie too.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. There was some movie that these two guys did, and they're brothers, and they put themselves in their own movie, and they wrote and directed it, and I decided not to watch it because that felt lame to me.
Is it the Safdie brothers? They did that.
Maybe.
I think one of their Mumblecore movies was the two of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's something you would have seen on streaming.
It had something science fiction-y to it. I don't remember. I don't care to remember. I forgot about it halfway. This is going to go on too long.
All of Moorhead and Benson's movies are absolutely worth watching. So whatever the description said that threw you off, let it go. Go back and get. Particularly The Endless is an absolutely demented idea and absolutely staggeringly entertaining. Yeah, give it a shot.
Okay. Well, I have one more thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
The Gilded Age.
Oh, you watched that?
I need to get back to that. I
just love it so much, and it's so beautiful and well acted. And, of course, it's Julian Fellows, and it's but it's American, which is even more fun. And the costumes, they must spend like so much money on it, but I adore it. Anybody even possibly interested in costuming or historical drama, go watch that. It's on HBO Max. And that is all I watched this week.
Speaking of Julian Fellows, I just want to mention that I think Dan Stevens has probably one of the best instincts of any actor ever.
Oh, hell yes.
I love him.
His
so
instincts
much.
are amazing. Because Downton Abbey went from, this is really good, everybody loves it, to, okay, I don't know where they're going, to Dan Stevens is dead. Okay. Because he was like, I want to be written off, and I want you to kill me. So there's no secondary release contract.
My dead body bleeding with my blue eyes wide open and unblinking.
And he went on and he did magical things.
He did a puzzle. He did the third season of Solar Opposites.
Legion.
Guy.
Oh God, Legion.
Oh my God.
And I can't get enough what's the Icelandic thing that's Will Ferrell?
Oh yeah.
Eurovision.
Yeah,
Eurovision, yeah.
Dan Stevens has a beautiful supporting role in it.
He's so good at that. But yeah,
he's so good in everything. I've been saying for a while, Dan Stevens is the modern day Anthony Hopkins.
I mean, he just picks his roles so well too. Just like Nate was saying, just like somebody will come at him from left field and go, "Hey, you want to be on Solar Opposites and take this?" He's completely brave. I mean, most actors are like, "Oh, I can't follow that. I can't do. That's too much controversy." He's like, "Nope."
He's that rare breed of actor that does whatever he finds interesting and is good at it. Like Daniel Radcliffe kind of does that. Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe has some misses, but he goes for what he wants to do. He's not doing it for a paycheck.
Right.
He has more range.
Yeah.
Dan Stevens has the most range of any of those people. But and then there's Nicolas Cage, and he's doing something completely different from everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him so much.
So he was in The Flash? Is that right? Because I saw that.
Kind of. Yeah, technically, yeah.
I saw that video that Bob sent us. I'll post it to the chat later.
There was
about Batgirl, and it was.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea
that was kind of the thing that was the thing that I stepped off the show for them to not spoiler for me when we were talking about. Oh no, I've seen it. I've seen it.
We talked about it already.
Okay.
It's not really Nicolas Cage. It's kind of a CGI generated reiteration of.
No.
It's him.
He shot for it.
For
some reason.
Did you not watch the video Bob sent you? Your brother sent you a video. No. Did you not watch it?
I saw the video. He's
and being filmed in it.
Well, no, that was from when they were actually doing test footage for Superman Lives.
Was it?
No, but I'm saying there is an interview with Nicolas Cage where he says, I came in, I shot my scene against a green screen, and then I left, and then I saw the movie in the theater, and it didn't look anything like what I did, and it's weird and pretty terrible.
Why? They didn't need to shoot him for what they did. They
that's what he said too.
They could have lifted it from the documentary.
By the way, this was during a conversation where he was describing how terrified he is of AI and how it's going to destroy artistry and humanity.
He's not wrong.
I agree, yeah.
I feel confident at the very least that Nicolas Cage is irreproducible.
He's got enough work out there. They could just sample, and they'd get enough.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, who has seen the Congress?
Now, if they started making movies where they replaced actors with other characters from other movies, but they're in the movie, like you're watching Goodfellas, but it's fucking Thor who's Robert De Niro or something, or you have like Wallace Shawn in the Paul Sorvino part and stuff like that.
I would actually kind of pay money for that.
That would be hilarious. You could get just normal people. You could get Bill Nye the Science Guy to be Al Capone.
They kind of did that with the what is that face swapping deep fake?
Yeah,
because they did that whole Full House entrance with what's the guy's name from?
Oh no! I mean, a few years ago at Dragon Con, back when they still had a film festival, I saw the one short film where basically they deep faked George Clooney into having a sex scene with Anne Hathaway. That's kind of gross.
I think they're making that stuff illegal now.
That was the point of the movie. They kind of indicated it out front. They had the whole full fair use disclaimers, etc. out at the front of the movie.
That Full House thing I was talking about was Nick Offerman.
It was seriously
character.
But that's what I'm talking about. I want
just creepy.
I want deep fakes of entire movies, but I want it to be done on the fly so that you can just type in, I want this actor to be Wallace Shawn, and then it's fucking Wallace Shawn, and they just programmatically design this, put out this 3D model, and it wouldn't look 100%, but it would be so funny.
It would be as like something like you do at a party. Like, you're sitting there with all
Yes.
your friends, like, oh, hey, make that guy such and such. And
Don't steal my ideas, internet.
I'm not.
Who's somebody you hate? Put them into a Monica Bellucci scene from Irreversible. Like, if you just want to watch someone get destroyed that you despise.
Oh my God!
See, that's why this would never happen.
I was off the
Tom
map
Cruise.
on this
Tom
conversation, but that is a frighteningly appealing idea.
No, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
You see, you guys were on board and you just got off board. I was off board and now I'm actually kind of on board. So that's our own individual mileage here. You see.
All right, what'd you watch?
Okay, I saw, aside from Loki season 2, which is frickin' beautiful, and the color version of Werewolf by Night I finally caught up with, which is the color version is actually really appealing in its own right because they did a very, very handsome imitation, not of Technicolor, mind you, but rather of like early 60s Hammerish Eastman color. That sort of non-hyper-saturated red. So it makes actually for a very handsome aesthetic experience in its own right. I recommend both versions of the movie, the black and white and the color. Saw My Best Friend's Exorcism, which was... I have Grady Hendrix's novel. I have not yet read Grady Hendrix's novel. I'm told it's a lot of fun. The movie was okay, but underwhelming. It was not as good as the source material's reputation would have led me to expect, but of course you led me to expect that the movie was meh.
I mean, Jess loves Grady Hendrix, so I've read all of his books.
I love Grady Hendrix.
Yeah,
I haven't loved any of his books. They've all been okay to me. I've read all of them.
Jess has read like everything of Grady Hendrix. She and I watched that movie, and we made it about halfway through. It was so bad. It was just a bad movie.
It was very nasty around its midsection. It improves a little bit in the second half / last third. It's still nothing terribly monumental, deeply underwhelming, and kind of a dud.
She told me that the book has much different.
Not bad, just not particularly good, but at least free if you have Amazon Prime.
Yes.
When did you see that Totally Killer movie? Totally Killer? Is that what
Totally Killer is fantastic.
That's a fun movie.
I am also told that early word on It's a Wonderful Knife is pretty terrific as well. That said, in the spirit of the current Christopher Landon / Blumhouse-esque age of pastiche comedy horror movies. But yeah, no, Totally Killer is really frickin' terrific. So give that a look as soon as you can. Also, because Wagner keeps going on about it, I finally saw Dave Made a Maze, which is neat. It's not great, but it's really good.
Is it streaming?
It wasn't as much fun as I thought it would be. It was more serious than I thought it would be.
It had a more serious tone than I was expecting, but I still kind of got with it. Not least, of course, for stellar work, particularly, of course, from the great James Urbaniak, who also had a fun cameo role, along with everybody else who had a fun cameo role in the next movie I'm going to talk about. But just a solid cast of comic stalwarts, some incredible committing to the bit, particularly for High Five Girl. Just kind of a neat movie, a fun premise. Nothing terribly monumental, but a good little picture, and better than it could have been. Now, last thing, of course, a movie that is probably as good as it could have been, particularly in the year in which it was made. I finally saw Oppenheimer, which joins Apollo 13 in my venerated class of science fiction movies that happen actually to have happened. In this case, pretty amazing movie, not least for a biopic, particularly a very sort of daring construction to the narrative. The non-linearity of the movie is initially disorienting in the extreme, which ultimately ends up kind of being the point.
I mean, Nolan doesn't consider it a biopic. He said that.
No,
Which
yeah, no.
I can see it. I agree with you.
Strictly speaking, well, I'm not sure I consider it a biopic as well. It's a biopic as a matter of convenience because it's about a person who actually existed. But like I say, I put it more in the category of Apollo 13 as straight up mind-blasting science fiction that happens to be based pretty much on stuff that actually happened. It's shit that would be ridiculous if the movie had been made prior to when it actually to when the real world events had actually occurred. No, it's a beautiful film, absolutely stellar, no pun intended, in basically every conceivable regard. Evidence that Cillian Murphy can literally play any age with no difficulty whatsoever. The scenes where Cillian Murphy is young in this movie, he doesn't look any different than he looked in Breakfast Breakfast on Pluto, literally 23 years ago. Amazing feat of underacting all the way through on that part. The female characters were underwritten a little bit, but even then, Emily Blunt kind of kicks ass, particularly when she gets her sort of monologue toward the end of the picture. I can't say enough about this movie, not least because of the degree to which the cast is stacked. And, essentially every few minutes there's an interesting cameo that you kind of didn't see coming, even though when it's like, oh, them, I totally should have seen that coming because I've seen, other Christopher Nolan pictures.
I didn't even realize that Jack Quaid was supposed to be playing Richard Feynman. Because I knew Feynman was obviously involved in the whole project. I'm like, was he in the movie? Then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that guy was Feynman.
Yeah, that was Feynman. I've got a funny story about Feynman I should tell you one of these days, but leaving that aside. But, just an amazing... It's a movie that actually operates both as sort of, big cinema spectacle, but also again, in very Nolan fashion, supremely intellectualized art house cinema. I like, given that it actually has actually two reasonably solid romantic subplots, just that gets so kind of hand-waved in the movie, that it's the first one of Nolan's movies in a while where he didn't even try to suggest that love meant fucking anything. Because in the context of the movie, it really kind of doesn't. Matt Damon's character, Leslie Groves, of course, previously played by Paul Newman in Fat Man and Little Boy, and again, somewhat less impressively, says it's the most important fucking thing that ever happened, and the movie actually rises to the occasion in this case. I thought it was not Nolan's masterpiece, but most other directors, it would have been their masterpiece.
Cool.
Nate, have you seen it yet?
No. I honestly have no interest in it. I just don't. I can't. I just don't. I have no interest in that movie.
I kind of do, and I want to see Barbie.
I still need to see Barbie.
I enjoyed Barbie. Hey, Jenner, did you know that your closet on your left with the stuff hanging on the door makes it my left. Yeah, makes it
dress looking thing.
Yeah, if you kind of, it's very.
Those are trench
coats. Like, no, wait.
That's a bathrobe.
It's silhouetted with everything, so it kind of looks like street art of like a guy wearing a big cloak with tiny little legs at the bottom and a head wearing a top hat.
You're right. It does look like the Babadook. I had not noticed that.
Yeah, I took a picture of it. You know what I also took a picture of? The logo for The Killer. The worst logo I have ever seen.
It went by so fast, I don't even remember it. It just...
It's a K, and then a giant space where there's a huge bullet hole with blood coming out, and the eye is on its side, and then LLER.
I kind of like that, actually.
When you are a little bit too far away from it, you will, and your eyes aren't perfect, it looks like a wine glass. It looks like a wine glass, and it's really bizarre. because that's the shape that the red makes on digital on a digital screen. It's just really poorly done. Why would the letters move apart? Wouldn't it be funnier to have the eye slanted or the top of it like it's rolled away so there's a little blood trail behind it? That'd be fucking awesome. That'd be great. Like that would be so funny. But they use this giant stock bullet hole they got from stock elements, and I wish it feels very lazy.
I don't even remember it.
Yes. Anyway, what are we watching next week?
Good question.
Don't ever.
Don't
Okay.
know.
Didn't we have a bunch? But then I brought up The Killer, and then we pushed the other ones off.
Oh yes.
There was something we were going to do.
There was something we were going to address directly.
It was something that I think Matt,
It's something I
suggested. And I was like, boy, why aren't we watching that? And then
Jenner, by the way, Jenner, you must have heard about this. The Abyss is being remastered and coming out in theaters in December, so we might finally get to do one of the first movies on our pile ever, or my pile. But
well, I mean, yeah, no, they've been flirting with the idea of a 4K release for a while. James Cameron keeps saying, "Yeah, I just need to sign off on the grading."
No, it's happening. There's a
date. It's finally happening.
Yeah.
It is finally supposed to be happening by the end of this year. We're supposed to get 4K Aliens.
I thought it was December 9th or something in theaters.
Well, no, there's supposed to be 4K video release as well, but we're supposed if Cameron keeps his shit together to get 4K Aliens, 4K The Abyss, and 4K True Lies, which have been lately turning into the 50-foot sharks of the high definition, to say nothing of ultra high definition video era, because they're supposed to be here, but we haven't gotten them yet. But
The Abyss is going to be in theaters for one day, and it's on a Wednesday, which means I can't go.
Yeah, that one at least has finally been straight up announced. The Aliens and True Lies are supposed to be on the way, but God or whoever's in charge willing, James Cameron willing, we're finally going to get these sooner than later. Or else I'm going to have to fucking fight someone again.
I remembered what my suggestion for last week was. It was Chad Gets the Axe.
Yes, let's find that. Let's watch that. That sounded neat.
Everybody good with that?
Where is it?
I don't know what it is.
It's on, I watched it on Prime.
Let's get that on Prime then.
I think I rented it.
I got dollars.
Let's see.
I mean, a few of them, but I have them.
Chad.
There.
Yeah, I rented it on Prime.
It looks.
It's hashtag Chad Gets the Axe, and it's all one word.
Oh, okay.
I feel confident we can make this work. But yes, I liked that idea. That sounded neat. I want to see it.
Awesome. Well, that's easy enough. We'll let Wagner know in the chat. Anything anybody else has to bring up or talk about? Nope. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us then. Like and subscribe for the channel. Come watch us. Come participate. Let us know if there's a movie you want us to talk about. And we'll respond to you in the comment section. All right. Good night, everybody.